Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens 2. Rebirth of Emperor Yang Part 47 based on novel. So let's start. Feeling the strong breath in his body, Xiao Yan was also very happy. His incarnation condensed into A, and his strength was comparable to a star-and-a-half emperor. In this way, it can be described as another killing move for Xiao Yan at the moment. Although the Numenon strength of this incarnation is only 1 star-and-a-half emperor, if the power of this star-and-a-half emperor breaks out completely, it will be no less powerful than his Buddha Anga reincarnation. In this way, when Xiao Yan fights against him in the future, he will be able to play another life-saving card. It seems that today is not necessarily who is afraid of who. Moshai, Xiao Yan will take all of them. As soon as the palm turned over, more than a dozen jade bottles appeared in Xiao Yan's palm. With a strong grip of the palm, all the jade bottles burst, and dozens of Jiupin Huichi pills also appeared in Xiao Yan's palm. Without hesitation, Xiao Yan stuffed all of them into his mouth, but he didn't block his mouth as expected. The high-level pill melted at the entrance. Naturally, that kind of thing wouldn't happen. Dozens of pills turned into a majestic torrent of fighting spirit and suddenly poured into the cyclone in Xiao Yan's body from his throat. However, in the eyes of outsiders, it can be regarded as a terrible torrent of energy. At the moment, it still seems insignificant in front of Xiao Yan, a semi-imperial strongman. Jiupin pill is really nothing in front of the semi-emperor strong. Alas Tilda. Xiao Yan also sighed helplessly in his heart, and then he stopped paying too much attention to it. 9 pill can't work. Naturally, there are higher-level pills. With his current refining technique, as long as he gets the pill, the imperial pill can't be refined. Casually glanced at the lion around him who refused to attack. Xiao Yan also guessed that the fire on was not so good. After all, it was a different fire. Even though it had absolute strength at the moment, it was difficult to refine quickly. And this just gave Xiao Yan enough time. After swallowing the pill, he kept moving. When the fighting spirit in the cyclone turned around, Xiao Yan's hands were already sealed again, and this seal was one of the secret skills of the ancient family. Imperial Seal Formula. The 5 seals of the Imperial Seal Formula are integrated into one, and its power is already comparable to the real heaven-level fighting skill. Now, after Xiao Yan's exertion, its power is more powerful than the ordinary heaven-level fighting skill. Looking at the lost speed of fighting spirit in Xiao Yan's body at the moment, I'm afraid the power of this Imperial Seal Formula will be more powerful than the creator of this fighting skill. When Xiao Yan gathered the Imperial Seal Formula, the refining of Xiao Yan's different fire was finally completed. After the power of different fire was integrated into his whole body, the male lion looked more like a rainbow. The pair of scarlet eyes with big bell were mixed with a little gorgeous flame, and when he looked at Xiao Yan again, unexpectedly, there was a special smell. It felt like desire and greed. The beast, unexpectedly, felt the benefits of different fire to it. At the moment, it showed a trace of greed. Hey, it seems that your body is also good. Although there is only one animal fire left, it can show such a strong reaction. In that case, I will accept this animal fire. Drink. Imperial Seal Formula, Mountain Opening Seal, Sea Turning Seal, Earth Covering Seal, Annihilating Sky Seal, 5 seals in one, Ancient Imperial Seal. Go. The voice in Xiao Yan's mouth hasn't fallen yet, but the whole person's look suddenly becomes fierce. The speed of condensation seal in his palm is accelerated in an instant. After a violent drink, the ancient emperor seal in Xiao Yan's palms is also solidified in an instant. At the same time, Xiao Yan also struck out with one palm, and an ordinary-looking strange fire palm, which was also Xiao Yan's palm, flew towards the lion. The moment the ancient imperial seal flew out, it was also an instant to meet the storm. In just a few breaths, it had turned into a large hand hundreds of feet wide, but it was like a meteor, with a long fire tail, and bombarded the lion. The male lion saw this, but his eyes lit up again, his mouth opened to the largest, and a terrible fierce suction also suddenly came out of his mouth. Between heaven and earth, there was a fierce wind, and the energy of heaven and earth turned into a huge energy vortex, pouring into the lion's open mouth. The fierce storm made Xiao Yan stand, and the empty figures shook slightly, but there was still a bright light in the clear eyes. Xiao Yan had guessed thoroughly about the beast's idea. The fierce suction in the male lion's mouth is like a black hole. Even if it has hundreds of feet of different fire fingerprints, it has returned to its original size when it reaches the male lion, and the male lion is even more impolite. He swallowed it into his belly with one bite, and the fire print on his chest becomes bright again. That's true. I'm afraid Jinjia's fighting skills can't pose any threat to you. Then, let's try this. As soon as the voice fell, Xiao Yan's heart moved. The void space in front of him was also distorted for a while, and then an almost substantive figure slowly appeared in the sky. This figure, impressively, is the embodiment of Xiao Yan's just condensation. Today's 3 incarnations have been integrated, and their strength has soared. Today's incarnation, in terms of strength, has been very strong. Even in actual combat, it is also able to help Xiao Yan, which can reduce some pressure for Xiao Yang in the future. The incarnation appeared, but Xiao Yan waved his palm, and a gorgeous different fire fell on the surface of the body, and his body was covered by the different fire in an instant. Since you beast like my strange fire so much, this will be sent to you. Go? The thought moved, and the avatar in front of him turned into a flash of different fire. In an instant, he came to the lion, but he didn't send it directly into the lion's mouth. Xiao Yang still wanted to see the real strength of the avatar. Naturally, he couldn't be anxious. Moreover, although the crazy lion has no brain, at least the instinct of the beast is still there. The strength of the incarnation is not weak. If the beast dare not swallow it, it will be a lot of trouble. It's better to let the avatar do it. On the one hand, see his strength, on the other hand, completely provoke the beast and let it take the initiative to swallow the avatar into its belly. At that time, it will naturally have endless suffering. As soon as the avatar stopped, there were powerful fighting skills in the palm of his hand, and he bombarded the lion fiercely. As a part of Xiao Yang, the avatar moves like Xiao Yang when displaying Xiao Yang's fighting skills. In the end, the avatar displays the Buddha's anger reincarnation and the Buddha's anger lotus together, one by one. It's also shocking. Of course, the momentum released by these 2 fighting skills at the moment is only stronger than that condensed by Xiao Yang at the time of fighting the saint. In today's Xiao Yang's view, it is difficult to hit the evil animal by this alone. Sure enough, although the fire lotus and the fire plate looked full of momentum, they were all swallowed by the lion at the moment of explosion. After the repeated bombardment of the incarnation, the beast's only instinct was also covered up by the towering anger. The big mouth was full of fierce and overbearing suction. Xiao Yang saw this. At the moment of his body's sudden retreat, a thought also came out at the same time, and the incarnation also passed a light in his eyes at this moment. Then his body moved and rushed towards the lion's mouth. The distance of kilometers came in an instant, but in an instant, the male lion swallowed Xiao Yang's incarnation into his stomach. At the same time, the burning animal fire in the male lion's body was like a hungry tiger, rushing towards the incarnation, trying to refine it in one breath. While the avatar entered his mouth, the different fire wrapped around his body burst open, so that the raging animal fire around his body was turned into nothingness at this moment. The power of different fire is really unmatched. Although the animal fire is obviously good, under Xiao Yang's personal control, it is also difficult to suppress Xiao Yang's different fire. Different fire really deserves to be the emperor in the fire. When the raging animal fire dispersed, the avatar also suddenly improved to the peak state. All over the body was filled with a fierce and domineering breath. Then it didn't stop. The soles of the feet suddenly stepped on, and the body also rushed towards the animal fire in front of the male lion's chest. Where he passed, because of the fierce momentum around his body, the animal fire around his body was also forcibly separated, making way for the incarnation. The fire group also seemed to feel the breath of the avatar, and a sense of danger came naturally. The already violent flame suddenly broke out at this moment, and a soaring heat wave swept out continuously. It turned into a flaming lion roaring up to the sky around its body, making it look more domineering. But the avatar didn't care about it at all. When it was approaching, the avatar's body shook again, and the scattered strange fire also appeared out of thin air again, wrapping its whole body. At the same time, the terrible fighting spirit belonging to the 1.5-star emperor in the body also began to condense rapidly at this moment. The body that originally appeared to be solid-like substance began to become transparent in this short time. Before approaching, without waiting for the avatar to move, the lion condensed by the animal fire was no less than some terrible warcraft, so he rushed towards Xiao Yan's avatar with the weather trend. The strange fire that wrapped the avatar also separated again at this moment. During the rapid change, it also changed into a gorgeous young dragon, circling rapidly to welcome the lions. In front of the strange fire, it is difficult to completely parry the beast fire with the power of 8.5 emperors. Moreover, there is the real body of Xiao Yan in the outside world. To sum up, Xiao Yan today can be regarded as a special spirit of different fire. Xiao Yan, with many different fires in one, has the power of different fire, which is no worse than the real spirit of different fire. If he is not weak, he is not qualified to jump in front of him with this animal fire. When the flame lion was suppressed, the power in the incarnation has been condensed into a glittering and translucent pearl like a pearl at night. However, under this gorgeous appearance, it also has the terrorist power that makes 8.5 emperors dare not underestimate. At the same time when the bead was condensed, Xiao Yan also spread his thoughts in his heart. Then, the incarnation that had become almost invisible hit the lion's original fire with the only truly substantive terrorist energy. All of a sudden, the earth and the sky shook, and the male lion's body all around onely collapsed at this moment and turned into an endless void. At the moment, there is a huge vortex of terrible energy in the male lion's body, just like a black hole, emitting the terrible suction that makes the semi-imperialist strong tremble. The huge body of the male lion, which originally covered the sky and blocked the sun, is also at this moment, just like the meat thrown into the meat grinder, it was instantly torn by the terrible energy vortex. The terrible energy vortex, after forcibly tearing up the huge body of the male lion, has an unabated momentum. It is like breaking free from the shackles of the male lion's body. The violent and incomparable terror suction is fully displayed at this moment. The earth that has turned into a wasteland is also fragmented under this fierce storm. At this moment, all gravity is like nothing. All objects are swallowed up by the vortex and turned into nothingness. Even though it was thousands of miles away, Xiao Yan still felt that his body was slowly approaching the vortex uncontrollably, which made Xiao Yan feel more dangerous in his heart. The energy of heaven and earth between heaven and earth is uncontrollably converging into the energy vortex. Even the still burning animal fire is irresistible and is being torn into the vortex by the terrible suction. On the horizon, Xiao Yan frowned when he saw this. Unexpectedly, the outbreak between the two would produce such terrible power. His body wanted to retreat, but Xiao Yan saw the animal fire still struggling, but his heart was moved. Although this animal fire is not a different fire in heaven and earth, after Wang Qi's own sacrifice, its power has been expanded hundreds of times. If the original fire is swallowed and refined, it can also play a little role in his cultivation, which makes Xiao Yan reluctant. With a sigh in his heart, Xiao Yan's palm turned over, and a large number of jade bottles appeared in Xiao Yan's palm. Without hesitation, the palm shook hard, the jade bottle burst, and dozens of pills also appeared in Xiao Yan's palm. Just like eating beans, he swallowed it in one gulp. A magnificent fighting spirit also invaded Xiao Yan's throat like a river flood. Xiao Yan also felt that his throat seemed to be choking suddenly, which made his throat seem to be enlarged at the moment. When that feeling passed away, the cyclone in Xiao Yan's body was already filled with a magnificent fighting spirit. The slightly recovered fighting spirit also gave Xiao Yan a lot of confidence in his heart. When his mind moved, the field of inflammation expanded instantly. Only in this field, Xiao Yan's ability in all aspects could be improved to a certain extent. In front of this terrible vortex, Xiao Yan really didn't dare to trust it. If he was accidentally dragged into it, he might be difficult to escape. As the field unfolded, Xiao Yan's mind moved, and the gorgeous different fire appeared out of thin air. During the rapid transformation, it turned into a sky fire dragon hundreds of feet a day. There was a very hot breath between breathing and breathing, so that the void was broken after a burst of distortion, and turned into a more dark and deep endless void. The hot dragon appeared, raised to the sky and sent out a dragon roar, and then the huge body moved with a bang, which was rushing towards the energy vortex with the extreme pressure of heaven and earth. To be exact, it should be the animal fire struggling in the middle of the vortex. Before this terrible energy vortex, even if its power is already good, it is still difficult to struggle with this vortex after the bombardment of 1.5 emperors. At the moment, the beast fire has become the end of a powerful crossbow. If you can't escape from the vortex, the final end will be swallowed by the vortex and turned into nothingness. Under the terrible attraction, everything in this world is difficult to escape its terrible destructive power. The animal fire that was still full of momentum before is difficult to parry at the moment. The distance between the two is only a few hundred feet. At the moment, it is closer and closer. It doesn't take a moment to be swallowed up by the vortex. Roar? With a long roar from the sky, the huge Yang dragon rushed towards the vortex with a great momentum. Before it came near, the Yang dragon took a big mouth, and the different fire in the mouth condensed rapidly into a huge fireball, which roared towards the center of the vortex with the blazing high temperature. The Yang dragon was also a huge body. Suddenly, it passed through the void in an instant. The huge dragon claw grabbed the struggling animal fire. As the hot dragon approached, I didn't know whether it was the beast fire's natural fear of different fire or the hope of life. Unexpectedly, it contracted together independently, put away its terrible high temperature, and waited for the arrival of the hot dragon's claw. While the hot dragon's claw is grasping the animal fire, the fireball full of violent breath in the middle of the energy vortex also explodes at the same time. A terrible energy ripple spreads from the center of the vortex. In addition, the energy of heaven and earth swallowed by it is more powerful than the one when the avatar explodes. The void within tens of thousands of miles collapses at this moment. Within tens of thousands of miles, it turns into a desert in an instant and all vitality disappears under the terrible energy storm. After the attack, the world was silent and everything turned into nothingness. Seeing this, Xiao Yan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. This war is over now. It's really unexpected that an 8.5-star emperor's desperate counterattack will produce such terrible results. Even Xiao Yan feels powerless. The only thing I didn't expect was that the energy vortex would be so easy to burst. It was just an explosion of different fire. This result really made Xiao Yan a little unbelievable. Perhaps the idea in Xiao Yan's heart was confirmed, or maybe it should have been. The silence between heaven and earth did not support for a moment. When the animal fire finally fell into Xiao Yan's hand and Xiao Yan was about to retreat, the wind and cloud rose again between heaven and earth. One more terrible energy vortex than before suddenly emerged from this void space. Xiao Yan has been completely surrounded by it and is in a dilemma. Looking at the dozens of more terrible energy whirlpools that suddenly appeared, Xiao Yan's face changed greatly at the moment. Even the previous energy vortex is hard to compare with one of them, not to mention the previous energy vortex. Xiao Yan is very dignified. At the moment, among the dozens of energy vortices in the depths, Xiao Yan is even more difficult to deal with. Maybe, he really left his life here today. Although the heart is very dignified and wants to go back to the previous time and leave the animal fire, there is no regret medicine in the world. At this moment, in such a dangerous situation, there is no other way. Life and death is just between Xiao Yan's thoughts. At the time of the dilemma in Xiao Yan's heart, the dozens of terrible energy whirlpools did not give Xiao Yan any extra time. Once the terrible suction was released, Xiao Yan was already standing in the void. He shook a little. Even with Xiao Yan's determination, he still felt powerless. The current situation also makes Xiao Yan wake up quickly. It's good to be in a dilemma. But if he retreats, he really can't retreat. Only if he advances, he may have some opportunities. Otherwise, he can only wait for death. With Xiao Yan's character, he decided not to be the kind of person waiting to die. Therefore, what is put in front of Xiao Yan at the moment is actually only one way. Rush out, catch that thread of vitality and escape from life. Tut tut, little guy, I just need to sleep. How can you poke such a big basket? You're really a troublemaker, tut tut. Suddenly, the voice of Guyo's words sounded quietly from Xiao Yan's heart, and Xiao Yan ignored it, but he didn't think that he would know nothing about his war today in front of Guyo. Yu also smiled and didn't bother to explain anything. Instead, he turned his voice and solemnly said to Xiao Yan, "Little guy, you know, this time you made a lot of trouble." Before Yu's voice fell, Xiao Yan's face had completely become dignified. Yu dared to say this, but Xiao Yan would not doubt it at all. However, for ordinary people, it may be a real destructive force, but for you, it may be an opportunity. Xiao Yan's face just showed a dignified color. Yu's next words brightened Xiao Yan's eyes, and his eyes also looked at a recent energy vortex. "Can you rely on that terrible guy to break through?" "Don't think about breakthrough. The generation of space vortex is special. You can trigger space vortex this time. It's really lucky, but it's unrealistic to want to break through. The reason why I say this may be your chance is that the real lethality of this space vortex lies in the damage to the body. Its terrible tearing force is enough to tear everything until it becomes nothingness. With your current physical strength, you can enter any one of them. If you can't escape as soon as possible, you will only be torn by it." Hearing this, Xiao Yan's face suddenly twitched violently. With his physical strength, he could not stay in the vortex for a moment. Could this also be his own chance? Yu smiled and said to Xiao Yan, "Although the number of vortices in this space is up to dozens, in fact, they all circulate with each other, just like some space wormholes, but these guys seem chaotic. You can't know which vortex you will rush out from after you pass through a vortex. Therefore, they are completely equivalent to a vortex. As long as you are fast enough, you can walk freely between them, and the result is that its power will continue to bombard you, and you will raise the physical body to a more terrible level with the help of that power." The voice in Guyo's mouth just fell, but Xiao Yan couldn't help licking his lips with his tongue. If it was really like what Guyo said, these spatial vortices would no longer be terrible things that eat people, but pills to improve strength. With this in mind, Xiao Yan doesn't hesitate. There is such a rare cultivation treasure in front of him. Of course, he wants to seize the opportunity. Without waiting for Guyo to finish, Xiao Yan's body shape flashes instantly, and the dragon phoenix blood in his body is also stimulated at the same time. A solid layer of purple and gold dragon scale instantly wrapped Xiao Yan's whole body. The light under his feet flashed and Qianjue stepped out. In the next moment, Xiao Yan's figure appeared in front of a nearby space vortex. Although Xiao Yan has great expectations for the vortex in the space according to the explanation of Jinguyu, before he really enters, Xiao Yan still can't help feeling that his scalp is numb. If there is any accident, he can really get in and can't get out. With a long sigh of relief, Xiao Yan was also strong in self-calmness and pressed down his violent beating mood. He held a breath in his chest and flashed his body, which immediately rushed into the vortex of the space. At the same time, the last reminder of Guyo was finally introduced into Xiao Yan's ears. "What's the hurry, little guy? The space pressure in this space vortex is more than dozens of times that of the outside world. After you go in, you must bear that pressure, otherwise, you want to go, which is also vain." As soon as his voice fell, Xiao Yan, who rushed into the vortex of space, was suddenly pressed down by a terrible threat of heaven and earth. His body was not stable. In an instant, he was crushed and fell to the ground by the terrible threat of heaven and earth. While falling to the ground, Xiao Yan also found that what earth is under him is also the terrible pressure of heaven and earth. These two forces protect and crush each other, making Xiao Yan's pressure double. Just for a moment, even with Xiao Yan's physical strength, he still felt that his muscles were bursting. Moreover, because of the void vortex, even if Xiao Yan wants to move his body, it is almost impossible. At the moment, Xiao Yan is like falling into the abyss of the sea. Even breathing seems like extravagant hope. At the moment, Xiao Yan finally saw the horror of the space vortex. The extreme pressure caused a more terrible space expansion, which made his muscles feel like they were going to explode. The longer he stayed in this space, Xiao Yan felt more and more clearly that his body was gradually expanding. From the outside, Xiao Yan's body shape at the moment was more than twice as big as that at the same time, just like a bloated fat man, but only Xiao Yan himself knew what terrible pressure his body was under at the moment. Hey, smelly boy, you rushed in recklessly without listening to me finish what I said. Now you know the horror of this thing. Xiao Yan is in such a state, but Gu doesn't have the slightest worry. He can't know how terrible Xiao Yan's body is. Just so, it's far from reaching Xiao Yan's limit. Therefore, it seems quite interesting when talking. Hearing Gu's words, Xiao Yan also smiled in his heart. The originally nervous state of mind was quietly relaxed. Since Gu spoke, he would naturally have his own way to save. I'm afraid this state at the moment is all within Gu's expectation, but he just bumped into it. Hey, come on, it's enough to stick to it for so long. There are still a lot of space vortices behind. Don't make it through. Now, release all your physical strength. First remove the pressure around you. Next, it depends on your performance. Remember, if you use your fastest speed to cross the space vortex in an instant, it will trigger a space riot. As long as you can survive for a moment, the power in it will have endless benefits for the hardening of your body. However, if you want to support for a long time, how terrible these aspects are. You know that the power released by the space riot is definitely not something you can bear for a moment, it's your limit. Gu's voice fell, and Xiao Yan responded in his heart. He knew that Gu's vigilance was not empty words, and he didn't dare to be careless in his heart. The thought moved, and the Vajra glass body was instantly excited. Xiao Yan's originally inflated body also soared again, and the pressure from his body was relieved at the moment. Xiao Yan was finally able to breathe a long breath at ease. With the Dragon Phoenix ancient armor and the Vajra glass body, most of the terrible pressure around Xiao Yan was removed at this moment. His huge body suddenly shook. Xiao Yan suddenly shook his right palm into a fist, and the level 8 collapse was displayed in an instant. He punched hard towards the void space in front of him. Boom! The sound of a space explosion suddenly came, and an invisible space fluctuation also spread at the same time. The pressure around Xiao Yan was completely eliminated under this punch. When the pressure was removed, Xiao Yan's golden eyes suddenly flashed, and his huge body suddenly turned into a pillar of light and rushed to the depths of the space. Drink! Huang Quan Tian Yu. Moo! 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 At the moment of rushing forward, Xiao Yan took a big breath, and the yellow spring Qian Yu was instantly displayed, and an invisible spatial fluctuation spread. The pressure in the space in front of Xiao Yan immediately decreased, and the speed of Xiao Yan's rushing forward soared again at the next moment, directly breaking through the constraints of all the pressure in the space vortex, and instantly appeared in the depths of the space vortex. Boom! Xiao Yan's body just passed, but the space this week suddenly sent out a burst of explosion. The whole space vortex was shocked at the moment, and the terrible suction of the outside world was also a sudden meal at the moment. Immediately, a series of explosions spread like setting off firecrackers and came after Xiao Yan. While the explosion passed, thick silver thunder and lightning also emerged from the void at the place of explosion. Then, they mingled and converged with each other, and turned into a thunder monster with thunder all over in this space vortex. Seeing this, Xiao Yan couldn't help but change his face slightly, but he didn't expect that the space riot would lead to a warcraft. Moreover, when Xiao Yan explored its breath, he was very dignified. The strength of the thunder beast was so deep that he seemed unable to explore the source of its strength. Such terrible strength, I'm afraid it was the lowest guy at the level of Fighting Emperor. Fighting Emperor, this level is still too far away for Xiao Yan today, but the thunder beast in front of him has reached such a detached position. Xiao Yan is afraid that he can't bear even his random blow. With this in mind, Xiao Yan's heart became extremely heavy in an instant. The boulder that had just fallen slowly in his heart a moment ago hit Xiao Yan's heart like a giant hammer. Hey, I can't imagine that this small space vortex can condense the empty thunder beast. Hey, it's good. It's just a virtual shadow. As long as you are fast enough, you can be safe. When Xiao Yan's heart was heavy, Gu's laughing voice came out of thin air, which also made Xiao Yan's face a little stunned. Then he frowned and asked Gu in his heart. Bone old, what is this empty thunder beast, not the Numenon? This video will end here.